It's been about 84 years, but the Eldar finally have a whole new range of models, and in this video I'll show you how to paint the Saim-Hann Autarch just like the box. Welcome to the painting coach. So the first thing I need to do is show you my sub-assemblies. So we have the Autarch on her base, primed black and then Mephiston Red. We've got the backpack, again black and Mephiston Red. We've got the cape, which is primed black and then half sprayed white. And finally we've got the helmet, which is also sprayed white. We'll jump straight in to get the white parts finished, and the reason we're doing this first is because they can be a little bit awkward to get to later. So just take some Corax White and paint all of those areas that need to be white according to the box art. To add a little bit of shade and difference in colour, we'll just take some Apothecary White contrast paint, and we'll use this on those areas where we've got some folds in the fabric and also in those shadow areas of the helmet. Finally, we'll highlight all those raised edges and folds in the fabric with some white scar. This will really make the white pop, so take your time, use the edge of the brush where you can to get a nice crisp line. With the white finished, let's move on to the black. So what we'll do is take some Abaddon Black and we'll use this to base all of those items that are going to be black in the end. So we've got the handle of the big glaive, we've got the actual gun itself, and we've got several other areas of the models where we want to take our time, such as the face mask. Now I have thinned this a bit, so it might take me 2 coats to get a nice even coverage. As this is a HQ model, I want to give it some extra highlights. So the first thing we're going to do is take some Mechanicus Grey and use this to highlight all of those edges in a fairly chunky way. Use the shape of the model where you can to get it nice and crisp. However, don't worry if you make too much of a mess, because you can just go back over it with Abaddon Black. Finally, to really make that black pop, let's take some Administratum Grey, which is a much lighter grey. You want to thin it down so it flows off the brush well, and use this along those edges and areas where we've got sharp corners, and this will really draw attention to it and make it look great on the tabletop. Next, we'll handle that deep pink colour on the cloak, on the weapon grips and on the banner. So for this, we'll base everything with some Screamer pink. On the banner, just take your time to leave a small black strip across the top. Follow the box art, as that will give you that detail. I really like Drakenhoff Nightshade to add some shadow to Screamer pink, so just use this very carefully and place it into those recesses. There's no need to cover the whole thing in Drakenhoff Nightshade, although with the weapon grips it may be easier to do this. If you need to tidy up with some more Screamer pink, however, we're going to go straight in with some pink horror, and we're going to use this to create some really sharp edge highlights. So take your time, use the shape of the brush and the shape of the model if you can to just pull it along, otherwise just be careful. There's sparing metal on this model, however we do have a couple of areas of gold, so to do this we're going to base all those areas using Rhinox Hide, which is a nice dark reddy brown. When that's dry, we'll take some Liberator Gold and we'll paint this over all of the areas that we painted that Rhinox Hide. We'll make sure to leave that Rhinox Hide in the recesses, and this is a really great base for a nice bright gold. If you want that gold to pop a little bit and have a little bit more shine, then take some chrome from Vallejo Model Air and mix this 50-50 with that Liberator Gold and use this just to paint those areas that are going to catch the light. We'll paint all the gems next, so the first step in this is take some white scar and paint this over all of the gemstones. Now you might need 2 coats depending on how thick the paint is, but it's better to have a thin one rather than clump it on and end up with a bit of a mess. For the gemstones themselves, we've got blue ones and green ones, so the colour we're going to use for this is Talassar Blue and Warp Lightning contrast paint, and all we're going to do is paint that over that white scar, adding a little bit extra to the bottom so it gives a deeper colour. When it's dry, just take some white scar and pop some dots in the top corner to act like a reflection, and if you want them to be shiny, add some gloss varnish. We're coming towards the end of the model now, so we'll do the armour. So if you haven't already, take some Mephiston Red and tidy up any mistakes. Next up, take some Flesh Tearers Red contrast paint and mix this 3 parts contrast medium to 1 part contrast paint and paint this over all of the model. When that's dry, take some Mephiston Red and start to block in those large armour panels, leaving that Flesh Tearers Red in the recesses. Take some Evil Sunz Scarlet to really start to brighten that armour and place this over the majority of the Mephiston Red. We're not edge highlighting yet, we're still area highlighting to get a nice bright effect. The first edge highlight will be with Wild Rider Red, so take your time with this and just use it to edge all of those armour panels and get a nice crisp finish. Use the side of the brush against the shape of the model and just pull it along in a smooth motion. The final highlight on the red armour is with Fire Dragon Bright, and we want to use this fairly sparingly, only on those areas that are going to catch the most light, such as the edges of armour, the corners of the shoulder pad. I want to paint the blade of the glaive to resemble that classic Eldar crystal blade effect, so the first thing I'm going to do is paint it all with Temple Guard Blue, being careful around those areas I've already finished. Next up, I'm going to edge highlight all of the blade using Baharroth Blue. Again, taking my time, but I'm not too concerned because I can always go back and tidy up. Finally, I'm going to take some white scar and I'm going to use it for the extreme edge highlight, and I'm also going to use it to draw some little scratches across the blade that look like that crystalline reflection. With that, the model's finished. Base it up, we'll have a look at it on the turntable. And there you have it, this Saim-Hann Autarch is done, ready to take the battle to the enemies of the Eldar. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, leave a comment and check out my other content. I'll see you next time.